भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
Hello little learners, how are you all? I hope everyone is happy, safe and healthy. So in today's video class, we will be learning about story completion. Yes, we are going to learn about story writing. Alright, and the learning objective of this lesson is, at the end of this lesson, you will be learning how to write a story based on the given outlines. So are you all guys ready? Come on, let's get going. Now, I'll be telling you how to write a story when outlines are given, and also I'll be telling you that how to use the correct phrases, when to write the correct grammar portion, and how to write it down. I'm going to tell you about how we are going to write the outlines of a story when only topic is given. I'll be also telling you that if the outlines are given, then at that time how we have to write the story. Like as in this, the outlines and the help box and Phillips are already given with the help of title. So we will be writing the story is quite easy. But what if only outlines are given and we have to frame the whole story by our own? So don't worry, I'll be telling you how to write the story when the outlines are given, and how to write the story when this kind of filling the blanks with the help box is given. So I'll be telling you in both the cases how you gonna write a story. I'll also be explaining you in this video that what is the important points to write a story, what are the important points we have to emphasize more, and what are the things that we do not have to emphasize while writing a story. So come on, let's start. First of all, an outline simply describe a sequence or events with characters in the form of points and short phrases. So this is about outline. एक आउटलाइन जो है वो सिंपली डिस्क्राइब करती है सीक्वेंस को या कैरेक्टर या इवेंट, कैरेक्टर्स विथ इवेंट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ पॉइंट्स एंड शॉर्ट फ्रेजेस. So this was all about outlines. Now we must now breathe life into these outlines and develop these points into a complete story. Now come characters of the story. The character in the story may be people, animals, and sometimes even non-living things. Yes, little learners. The characters in the story may be people, वो इंसान हो सकते हैं, animals हो सकते हैं, या maybe non-living things जो बोल सकती है. Okay, it's all depends on the imagination. And non-living things who talk and behave like human beings. Yes, if the characters are animals or non-living things, present them in your story as speaking and behaving like human being. Why? Because this will make your story interesting and enjoyable. Now, important points while writing story. Listen it carefully and try to understand it nicely. Okay? So, the very first one is Read the outlines of the story carefully. Read the outlines of the story carefully. Then, and understand what the story is all about. Develop the points of the outline into complete sentence. Yes. Develop the points of the outline into a complete sentence. Then the third is follow the outline of the story. Follow the sequence in which the points are given. These points form the series of event in the story. Do not omit any part of the line. हमें स्टोरी का या आउटलाइन का कोई भी पार्ट ओमिट नहीं करना चाहिए. And do not include unrelated or unnecessary event that may change the event completely. And हमें unnecessary चीज़ें जो हमारे इवेंट या हमारे स्टोरी से रिलेटेड नहीं है वो इंक्लूड भी नहीं करनी चाहिए. Why? Because इससे क्या होता है, हमारी स्टोरी पूरी ही चेंज हो जाती है, आउट ऑफ ट्रैक हो जाती है. So always remember, follow the sequence in which the points are given. This points forms the series of event in the story. Do not omit any part of outlines and do not include unrelated or unnecessary event that may change the event completely. Now the fourth point comes. Every story has a beginning, middle and ending. Yes, little learners, story has to be written in 3 forms, and they are, the very first one is beginning of the story, second middle of the story, third the ending portion of the story. Every story has a beginning, middle and ending. Now fifth is include details to make the story interesting and enjoyable to read. The sixth one is write the story in the past tense even if the outline may be provided in the present tense. अगर आउटलाइन आपको प्रेजेंट टेंस में दी है फिर भी आपको स्टोरी पास्ट फॉर्म में ही लिखनी है. ऑलराइट. नाउ इंट्रोड्यूस डायलॉग्स और कन्वर्सेशन टू मेक द स्टोरी इंगेजिंग. आपको स्टोरी को इंगेजिंग बनाने के लिए, इंटरेस्टिंग बनाने के लिए डायलॉग्स वगैरह, कन्वर्सेशन लिखनी चाहिए, बातचीत लिखनी चाहिए. ओके. एंड यूज डायरेक्ट स्पीच व्हेन इंट्रोड्यूसिंग द कन्वर्सेशन एंड इनडायरेक्ट स्पीच व्हाइल यूजिंग द कन्वर्सेशन which is spoken by someone else. Okay. Then remember to give the dialogue. Don't forget that you have to give the dialogues in and conversation and direct and indirect speech while introducing the conversations. Then remember to give a title to the story. Remember that you have to give title to your story. Then choose a title that is related to the main character or event of the story. आपको जो टाइटल है वो मेन कैरेक्टर या मेन इवेंट ऑफ द स्टोरी से रिलेटेड होना चाहिए आपका टाइटल. ओके. नाउ राइट द टाइटल यूजिंग टाइटल केसिंग in which the main word begins with capital letter, and remember to avoid the use of quotation mark and punctuation mark in the sentence or in the title until and unless it is a sentence. इसका मतलब है बच्चों, अगर आपका टाइटल एक वर्ड है या 2 वर्ड से कंप्राइजेज है, 2 वर्ड से बना हुआ है, तो आपको कोटेशन मार्क या पंक्चुएशन मार्क नहीं लगाने चाहिए. until and unless your title is a sentence. अगर आपका टाइटल एक सेंटेंस जैसा है तो आप कोटेशन मार्क या पंक्चुएशन मार्क लगा सकते हैं. ऑलराइट, कम ऑन. सो नाउ लेट्स try to do a story that is a woodcutter and axe. सबको ये स्टोरी पता है? Yes, everyone knows. And see, beautiful pictures are there to describe. अभी आप छोटी क्लास में हो बच्चों, तो आपको स्टोरी पिक्चर्स के थ्रू, आउटलाइंस, फिलिंग द ब्लैंक्स, हेल्प बॉक्स के थ्रू मिल रही है. व्हेन यू विल मूव टूवर्ड्स हायर सेक्शंस, you would be getting the title of the story, only the title. Title means the outline of the story. Few outlines are given, and on the basis of that you have to write it down, the whole story. So these are the important points which I had discussed today in my video class. This will help you to remember and to know how to write a story when only outlines are given. Now come on, let's move towards this portion in which we are going to write the story when filling the blanks is given with the help of help box and pictures. So it makes our concept little bit easier. Okay, see, in the very first picture, what is going on? Please concentrate here everyone and see in the very first picture what is going on. Yes, there is a man who is cutting tree. Then what is happening next? Suddenly the eggs fall down into the water, and then the water god appears with eggs, and after that he came with golden and silver eggs first. आप सभी को स्टोरी पता है इसका मतलब. Then the man said, "No God, this is not my eggs." And then at the end the god come with his wood eggs. wood वाली eggs के साथ आते हैं, iron eggs के साथ आते हैं. And then the wood cutter says कि yes, this is my own eggs, and the gold and silver eggs is given as a gift from God to the woodcutter because of his truthfulness. Yes, this is the story. So come on, help box is given, fill in the blanks are given. What are we waiting for? Let's start writing. And here comes the story. A poor woodcutter was cutting wood in the forest. Write it down. The first we are going to write wood. कहाँ पे काटेगा woodcutter? Obviously in the forest. So the very first one is forest. A poor woodcutter was cutting wood in the forest. Write it down. Forest. Forest. The woodcutter accidentally dropped his eggs into the pond. Yes, there was a pond nearby and he dropped his eggs accidentally into a pond. Write it down. DROPPED. Dropped his eggs into a pond. 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 He felt sad because he could not afford to buy a new iron eggs. Now he was feeling very sad. Why? Because he could not afford to buy a new iron eggs as he was a poor woodcutter. Then a fairy saw the incidents. Fairy ने सब कुछ देखा and approached him with a silver eggs. अब वो silver eggs लेकर आए. ठीक है. The woodcutter did not take it because it was not his own eggs. See how honest he was. And he was not greedy as well. Then the fairy offered him a golden eggs to test, but the woodcutter did not accept it also. Woodcutter ने वो वाली eggs भी नहीं ली. Finally, the fairy returned him his own iron eggs. The woodcutter was pleased and thanked to the fairy. Due to his honesty, the fairy also gave him the silver eggs and golden eggs. So now it was a story in which the story want to tells us that honesty is the best policy and we must be honest in each and every situation. Okay, we must be honest in each and every situation. The story teaches us this lesson. So don't forget that story के 3 parts होते हैं: title, beginning and ending. Ending with moral. Okay, do not forget to write moral, because moral and title are the very important parts of a story. Are very important part of story. Come on, let's read the story one more time. A poor woodcutter was cutting wood in the forest. The first fill in the blanks will be forest. The woodcutter accidentally dropped, second one is dropped, his axe into the pond. He felt sad because he could not afford to buy a new iron axe. A fairy saw the incidents and approached him with a silver axe. The woodcutter did not take it because it was not his own axe. Then the fairy offered him a golden axe. But the woodcutter did not accept it also. Finally, the fairy returned him his own axe, iron axe. The woodcutter was pleased and thanked the fairy due to his honesty. The fairy also gave him the silver axe and golden axe. Moral of the story: honesty is the best policy. Very good, all of you. So this is how we had completed story writing. Let us discuss the points. What we had learned today? We had learned story writing with the help of outlines. We had discussed the important points while writing a story and about characters of the story. Then firstly, we had seen the learning objective. Then we had seen the outline. What is the meaning of the outline? The outline simply describe a sequence of events with characters in the form of points and short phrases. And then we had discussed about the character, that the character may be people, animal, or even a non-living things who talk and behave like human beings. To make our story interesting and joyful, we must use the characters like non-living things and animals which can speak like human beings. Then the important points which we had discussed while writing a story is: read the outlines of the story carefully and understand what the story is all about. Develop the points of the outlines into complete sentence. Follow the outlines of the story. Follow the sequence in which the points are given. These points form the series of events in the story. Do not omit any point of outline, and do not include also do not include the unrelated or unnecessary events that may change our whole event of the story. Now, next thing which we had seen is include details to make the story interesting and enjoyable to read. Then write the story in the past tense even if the outline may be provided in the present tense. Then use dialogue conversation, direct and indirect speech in. Then remember to give the title to the story and write the moral of the story. This also we had seen. And write the title using the title casing, in which the main words begins with a capital letter. And avoid using quotation marks and punctuation marks to the title unless it is a sentence. And then we had seen a story of woodcutter and axe. Very nice, little learners. So today we had learned the story writing. I hope every one of you understood it, and if you face any difficulty while writing a story or up till here the topics which we had completed, feel free to ask. I'll be sharing you my new video on that topic, or I'll be discussing it with you in your online classes. Whichever is convenient to me, I'll be definitely try to solve your doubts. Okay, little learners, so that's all for today. Bye bye and thank you. Keep smiling, keep studying, keep practicing. And namaskar.